Hi and welcome to Healthy Life Hacks. I'm Jefferies, the present day wise woman, a realistic naturopath coming to you from the surfing beaches of Australia. This podcast is for those of you who are wanting to really rock your life and health and live from a place of prevention. Let's get into today's episode. I'm curious. I am really curious about pretty much everything in life. I've always been a curious kind of person. But over the last 10 years, I've really learned to be curious about more things. And in particular, curious about things like what people's big dreams are in life and that. So I want to talk today about how I've developed for me to be able to open my mind more, because I know for my earlier years in life, I wasn't always like that. And I really am deliciously excited to just, to hear about what other people think about things. It's really cool. So I know that everyone I come into contact with is a gift. Everyone. And everything in life that I do, there's a gift in it. There's something that can add value to my life. And sometimes at the time, I don't really know what it is. That's a reality, but there always is something that I can take away from it. And like I said, I wasn't always that way. I was, that focused kind of Taurus person who was just like, just get it done. And I wouldn't always see everything that was to my peripherals. But my life and when I opened up my mind, my life opened up. And I really wanted to talk about this because it's added so much value to my life. And has it happened more as I've aged? Yeah, it has. I'm 60 now, and I have, my values have evolved over the years. But what's really evolved over these years is that insatiable curiosity that I have. I've always been curious to learn stuff and to history and all those kind of things, but I'm curious just in the day-to-day little things nowadays. And that's what I want to talk about. So let's play a bit. I decided to Google and search what being open-minded meant. And it came up with words like approachable. Yes, I'm reading this because it was a list. Approachable, impartial, observant, tolerant, broad-minded, interested, perceptive, persuadable, unbiased, understanding, acceptant, acceptive, and swayable. Now, that's a real range of words to really explain what being open-minded is, but they are. And all of those kind of traits, if you want to call them, I've consciously been able to develop in me over the last 10 years or so. It was something that I wanted to do. And I have, and I know that my life has opened up with that. Now, the flip side of being open-minded is being narrow-minded. And that's what I used to be like. I really did when I was younger. I was quite narrow-minded. And with that comes a frustration when you're not getting people to agree with you. And I remember when I was working, in the corporate world back in my 20s, and it was the 80s, and it was that, the boss is king. And I was just like, kind of thing. And I remember just being so hard-assed with my opinions, and no one had a chance, of getting anything in. And we sure as hell never asked other people for other opinions. It was just such different days. So I'm really happy that the world has moved past that stuff. And it was a conscious thing in me to want to start really opening my mind more. So I thought I'd share a couple of things like this. So some of the things that I've done, I just go, cool. I've had a closed mind. I don't create stories about it. I don't give myself a hard time for the fact that I've had a closed mind in the past. I just go, cool, that was part of me. And I'm choosing to operate differently nowadays. That's it. I consciously look for both sides of the argument. So, the pandemic has been going on at the moment. I don't follow just people and news and things that are of my thinking. I really consciously follow both sides. I want to keep an open mind to all that's going on at the moment. And so I do. I really look at both sides, and then I make my choices up in life. But it's really easy, especially with the way the world is right at the moment, to just stay in your little saying, going, I do this or I don't do that. And that doesn't work for me. In my old days, totally, it really would have. But I'm really conscious of looking at all the sides that there are now. Another one is, you might have heard of the saying, an open mouth often indicates a closed mind. And I've learned a big part of the process for me to learn to be open-minded is to learn to shut my mouth and listen more, and not listen from a place that I'm wanting to come back with my answer, which is kind of human nature, what we do. We're listening, but we're ready to jump in with the answer that we want to give or feed what we want into the conversation. I'm much better at listening nowadays. And am I perfect at it? No. But in the past, I would run over people's conversations and end sentences and things constantly. And I'm far better at that nowadays, at not doing that, than I ever used to be. So I'm really happy with that. So really conscious listening has been a big way for me to break that pattern as well. Next one is I really enjoy getting other people's opinions, because I realize as I age, I don't bloody know everything. And where in the past, I was quite closed to a lot of that stuff, especially back in the 80s and 90s. I seek out people. I consciously choose to surround myself with people that know more than me within the areas, my realms of, of the work and life that I do, so that I am able to listen, learn, and bring more to the world by having an open mind to what their knowledge and experience and stuff is. So I consciously surround myself with people that I can learn from nowadays. Again, that's not something I did back in the 80s and 90s. I really didn't. I've learned to be approachable. Yes, I used to be a pain in the ass. I remember when I worked in the pharmacy industry one day, one of the junior shop assistants, I'd asked her to relay, change the order of the products on the shelf one day. And she said to me, why? And I went, why? And I sacked her on the spot. It was the 1980s. It's a different world. But it was like that moment has always stuck with me, because I think what an asshole boss I was. I really was. But I was managing people the way I was taught to manage people. And it sure as hell, I wasn't approachable. I want to be approachable nowadays because I can learn so much from other people. I want to be impartial. I want to be observant. I want to be tolerant. I want to, and I'm still a work in progress. And it's easy for our mind when we are so closed-minded to think, no, I'm not like that. I'm not. I'm all open-minded. Well, are you? Are you? Think about it. Think about the conversations that you have, the people that you're surrounded with. Are they only of like mind? Mine aren't. Holy shit. I mix with people with such an amazing range, and we have some seriously different opinions on some things, and that's okay. It's really cool, and it expands my world by having those kind of people in my life. So in the past, I was the lone wolf. It was like my way or the highway kind of thing, not open-minded, not anything. And over the last 10 or so years, I've really consciously been working on opening up my mind, and I promise it's opened up my life in ways that I never imagined. One of the things with me being on the road all the time as a speaker for the last 20 years prior to the pandemic is that it was really easy for me to be the lone wolf and just do my thing and be really closed-minded. The last 2 years or 18 months since I've been at home and I'm making friends where I live, I've never had friends. I really haven't had a bunch of friends that would just kind of drop by and say good day in my life. I haven't. I've lived such a life of me leading and being the lone wolf, even when I was in relationships, guys, even when I was in a relationship. I bring something very different to a relationship nowadays to what I used to. But it's been a real bonus for me in the pandemic to meet such a different range of people and actually being open and seeking them out to for us, to both parties, to be able to add value to each other's lives. It's been crazy cool for me. And it's a bit hard for me to explain it and put it into words. But I used to kind of wait for people to come to me. And so if I wasn't in an approachable kind of vibe, which I really wasn't when I was younger, I was that kind of angry at the world person when I was young. When I wasn't like that, I didn't attract people and friends and all that kind of stuff to come to me. By opening my mind and opening my range and listening and really inviting in by an energy kind of level, more of whatever is out there. Opening up my mind to everything that's out there, living a life of yes. I say yes more open. People say, do you want to do this? I go, yes. And then I think, fuck, I've got to go and do that thing. But doing that stuff is what has allowed me to consciously open my mind and open up my life. And I just wanted to touch on it today because it really has been the best edition, but it's been really conscious and it's still really conscious for me to do. So I want to leave you just with 3 simple healthy life hacks today. The first one is to practice active listening. Like really listen, stay present, breathe, just breathe through your nose. One of my surf coaches teaches breathing. And so breathing through my nose, and really it helps me to be present, to just slow myself down, be present, and really listen to what the person's saying. That's the first step. Healthy life hack number 2 is to try new things on. Say yes more often. When someone suggests something, say yes, and then think about how you're going to make it happen. But say yes. It's the coolest way. I would not be surfing nowadays, which is a solid addiction in me, almost an obsession. I sunrise surf 7 days a week. That would not have happened. Well, it sure as hell never happened. But 5 years ago when, my gorgeous friend Shane said to me, Jen, let's learn to surf. I went, yes. And then I thought, fuck, learn to surf. And it is such a big part of my life nowadays. It's crazy. The benefits are endless. So think about saying yes more often, and then worry about it, and then deal with, what you've got to live into make that happen. And healthy life hack number 3 is to let yourself be a work in progress. I still complete some people's sentences some days. I still override conversations sometimes. But the difference is I catch myself at it the majority of the time, and I'm able to shut up and say, no, no, please finish what you're saying. I'm still a work in progress. But you know what? I would rather be a work in progress and be heading in the right direction to have a more open mind, and all the value that's been added to my life by having friends of a different quality in my life is priceless. It really is. So let yourselves be a work in progress, guys. This was a bit of a quickie today, but it's an important one. So if you want to get a copy of the show notes to go back to what I talked about today, head over to www.healthylifehacks.com.au. I want to thank you for being here today. If you enjoyed my podcast, please let me know by leaving a review on Apple Podcast. Every month, I draw one lucky person who leaves a review on Apple Podcasts to have a free 1-hour consultation with me. Be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you're tuning in from so that you always catch the next episode. And if you would like to receive a free copy of my Feed Your Body ebook, simply click the link in the comments below. Join my newsletter and we will get that free ebook sent to you. I welcome your emails, and you can write to me at podcast@healthylifehacks.com.au. Until next time, remember, when it comes to life, live it, love it, and get on with it.